Over the weekend, we got word that the Chicago Bears could pursue J.K. Dobbins or Nick Chubb in free agency to add to the running back room. We're talking about today, is that the right choice for the Chicago Bears? We're also going to look at the athletic name of the Chicago Bears as on the precipice of actually taking back the NFC North, and we're going to dive a little bit into the mailbag. All that and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go and get into this content for today. So, kind of the thing that's on the kind of the topic on everybody's minds is, what are the Chicago Bears going to do with their running back room? Now, me, Bobby, and Kev had a conversation of that over the weekend after the initial J.K. Dobbins report came out, and the Bears sit in a place now where do they ride with what they have, at least at the start of training camp, to see how it looks under this new offensive line, or do they make a move now to make sure they can bring in one of the veterans of Nick Chubb or J.K. Dobbins? Now, we'll talk a little bit about those players individually here in a second, right? But I think overall, there has been this kind of thing where, and this happens a lot with Bears fans, right? It happened with Ryan Poles after the season of, Ryan Poles makes no good moves, right? And then after the Ben Johnson hiring, then it was, Ryan Poles, back in Ryan Poles we trust, right? So, Bears fans typically tend to do this thing. It happened with Tyreek Stevenson, right? Trying to talk about Tyreek Stevenson as if he was terrible last season, when no, he made a dumbass decision. He made some harebrained mistakes that he needs to get under gear, but he still was statistically one of the better cornerbacks in the league, right? So, when it comes down to it, is this thing that we do as fans where when things don't go the way that we want them to go, we immediately go to, it must be terrible, it must be completely horrible. And the truth usually is somewhere in the middle of all of that, right? So the Bears running back room is definitely not something that you look at and you say right now is the strength of the offense. But just because it's not the strength of the offense doesn't mean that it is a huge weakness either, right? The Bears running back room is solid. I think behind a different offensive line, which we've done a good job to revamp that offensive line in both pass protection and run blocking as well. But I think people forget DeAndre Swift did not have a terrible season last year. He just didn't have a terrible season. Now, he has a career 4.4 yards per carry, which isn't the best. It's not great, right? And I'm not trying to sell DeAndre Swift as this running back that is the end-all, be-all, you can't upgrade from him. No, I think we all looked at potential upgrades this offseason. But even throughout an offensive line that was not great, let's be clear, that offensive line was not great, and the offense overall under Shane Waldron was basically piss poor for the majority of the season. He still managed to put up the second most yards in his NFL career, right? He still had 6 touchdowns, and he still had almost 1,400 yards from scrimmage, almost closer to 13 probably, 100 yards from scrimmage. That is in pass and the run game. So it's not that it was this absolute terrible season that people make it out to be. Can it be better? Absolutely. And that is why you do survey and see what you can bring in. But I think the thing is that the Bears, and to Bobby's point that he made yesterday over the weekend, I believe it was Saturday, is that you still want to see what you have. What does it look like without giving up anything else? What does it look like with these guys? Give these guys a chance, right? But as we've heard from Ben Johnson and other people, even Ryan Poles, there is no depth chart right now. Everybody's going to have to earn their spot. And for some reason, if Roshan, DeAndre, Kyle Monangai, Ian Willer, if these guys have not shown enough, then you can bring somebody in. But then you run the risk also of maybe one of these guys coming off the board. And that's where the Bears are in this interesting scenario, right? Now, on the flip side of that, you guys know I like to present both sides of the argument, right? DeAndre Swift is not a terrible running back. Him and Roshan, I think, could be competent, especially in this first season with as much weapons that we have all over the place. I think they can have a solid season. But the chances of, what if you want more than just solid, right? What if you want a move that puts you right up there and that puts your offense right up there as on paper one of the better ones in the league? Well, you should have traded up and tried to get Ashton Genty, but that, of course, I understand why that didn't happen. It's a little bit of me being silly there. or move up for Travion Henderson. You didn't do that. So what's the next base case? You look at what's out there in either the trade market or the free agent market. Now, I don't think Ryan Poles is going to make a trade with any future draft assets right now because, again, hopefully that this is the Bears draft assets, aren't going to be, up in the 10. So you want to hold on to those guys unless you're making sure that you're getting a hell of a talent. But that could be waited to see what you look like after the season. That's where Nick Chubb and J.K. Dobbins comes in at, right? Nick Chubb, who has not been healthy, to be clear there, last year, only 8 games played, only 10 games played total in the last 2 seasons from 2023 and 2024. But career, 5.1 yards per carry, and that got brought down quite a bit because last year only averaged 3.1 yards per carry. You look at what he's done, has been over 5 every single year of his career. So this is a guy that if he's healthy, he offers so much of exactly what you need. The biggest question is his health? Can you bet on the health? And I think if Ryan Poles does make a move for Nick Chubb, I would hope at least that it comes via them feeling very confident in the overall health of Nick Chubb and what he's going to be able to bring to this team. But then you look at the other option, J.K. Dobbins out of Ohio State, right? A guy that did have some injury concerns but has been much more healthy than Nick Chubb over the last few years, that's for sure, right? That brings a lot of what you need. Even last year, 905 yards as being basically the featured back. 9 touchdowns he did in that. He averages 5.2 yards per carry for his career, which is brought down considerably by 2023, where he only had 1 carry and 2.8 yards, per carry in that one. So only 1 game played at 22 yards and 2.8 yards per carry. So there's that aspect of it that you got to look at also, right? And so it's not as straightforward as what people would make it out to be, but here's the thing. I commend the Chicago Bears about not resting on their laurels, not sitting on their hands for sure, right? And going out there and at least surveying and looking at things. And I wouldn't be mad at either one of these guys. If Nick Chubb or J.K. Dobbins ends up being a Chicago Bear, cool. Because as long as the deal's not long-term, right? If you give them a 1-2-year deal, whatever it is, at reasonable money, I'm not mad at that. Because again, the reason why I'm not mad at that is that our running back room is in a okay position. If you add these guys, of course, it could take it over the top if they're going to be healthy. But even if they come in and not, it's just if they're not, then you have that kind of safety net to fall back on. I think that's what the Bears are doing, taking calculated risk. And that's what Ryan Poles has done several times before at the beginning of a season, after a couple of preseason games, or after training camp, after they got a time to look at some things, right? So I think that is going to be what we look to see what the Bears do here. And that's going to dictate a lot by the Bears is the health of these guys, what they can sign them for, and how confident they feel about them out of the first week of training camp or something like that. Then I think the Bears will make that decision. Now, are both those guys going to be available? And that's a question that a lot of you guys raised that I think was a fair question. Are they going to be available? What if you do wait too long and you find out, we're not as confident in it. And then you try to go out and these guys are already gone. That is a risk that you run. I think you got to trust your running back coach and Eric Bieniemy. You brought him in. Ben Johnson's already said that he trusts him to coach the hell out of these guys up. And so if you trust your running back coach and Eric Bieniemy, I know they can only go off tape so far and a little bit of what they've met with him and sat down with him so far. But if that's the case, then, if Bieniemy feels confident, then I'm willing to ride that out, right? I'm willing to deal with that, whatever comes over that season, and trust in this coaching staff. But if Bieniemy comes in there and he's like, nah, give me some more depth, then Ryan Poles better damn well go out and get that depth for this team. And so that's the place that I sit in it with. They're really good names, again, in perspective and what you're going to get at this point in the offseason anyway, right? Like, that's you're probably looking at the cream of the crop when that comes down to it. So J.K. Dobbins, Nick Chubb, those are probably the 2 guys that you're looking at most to bring in. But again, don't overlook the chance that Kyle Monangai can come out and do something to wow some people. Again, it's 7th round pick. There's some room for doubt there, but again, when you look at this guy's tape, like, he's a pit bull, and what he does in pass blocking is really the thing that makes me a little bit more confident in it as well. So, we'll see overall what happens with that one. Again, it's up to guys that are supposed to be a lot smarter than us to make those decisions, and let's hope that they make the right ones. But we'll see where it goes. But let me know what you guys think down below. Or would you be okay with the Bears going through the opening of training camp with what they have to see what they have here, or do you think that they should strike now if they can get JK or if they can get Nick Chubb in here and go ahead and make that move right now? Let me know what you guys think on all that down below. With that said, Mike Sando of The Athletic, right? wrote about the Bears and their draft, and he said this: I like what they've done. I've been skeptical of the Bears in the past. The tight end is really good. The sleeper in the draft is the Trapillo kid in the second round. Eventually, I think he would be their right tackle. I have to hand it to GM Ryan Poles. They have upgraded a lot of ways this offseason. And I love hearing that, but as a Bears fan that's been a fan of this team for my entire life, we've heard it all before. We've won the offseason before. Yay, we won the offseason again. I don't give a shit about that anymore. I care about what we put on the football field. Right now, I want to be clear, there's been a shift in strategy by the Chicago Bears. It's clear they attacked the trenches. They did that in free agency. They did that with trades. They did that. They went out and got the biggest name coach on the market, and they paid him like that, right? The Bears have typically been cheap about how they pay for their coaches. They've done that. That's different about this team. This team carried itself a little bit differently this offseason. But we've won the offseason too many times. I don't care about that anymore. Let me not say I care about that, but that is not going to shift my expectation of this team until we get on the football field. It's great to have a great offseason. It's great that people are viewing the Bears draft class as really, really well. The PFF grades came out for all of our rookies, and just about all of them had grades that were pretty damn high, 75 or higher. The only one I think was lower than that was Hippolyte, right? But overall, like, the Bears, we've done great before. We've had, on paper, solid off seasons before. You know what I need? I need wins. I need dubs. That's what I need here with this team. And so it's great that we had the offseason. You can't get the wins without having solid moves in the offseason. But I'm tired of looking at what we did in the offseason and then by week 6, week 7, looking at it and saying, well, hey, it was nice to be excited while it lasted. I'm tired of that. I'm tired about the excitement wearing off when the season goes. I want the excitement to build as the season builds. I would love in November, December to be excited about, damn, we're going to get some postseason in here, right? That's what I want to be excited about. So, yeah, the Bears have had a solid offseason. But I'm here to say this, and this is not to be pessimistic or a Debbie Downer. It all means nothing if we have another 7-10 season. It means nothing. And again, I'm not saying the Bears need to win the North right away. I'm saying that the Bears need to actually look like a threat to do something, right? Make a postseason. Fight and compete for something. I'm tired of winning the offseason, and it does not translate to on-the-field football wins. That's what I'm personally tired of. I'm tired of talking about it, right? So while the Bears, they've had a really good offseason. Make no mistake about it. In no way am I going to say that the Bears had a bad offseason. They did not. And you got a lot of guys like now Trapillo is now the third guy we got listed as a steal in this draft. And hopefully him, Luther Burden, and Monangai actually end up being the steals that people have talked about us being, because then if that happens, great. But at the end of the day, it's about, to me, it's about getting wins on the football field. That's where you have to make the shift. You went all in. You paid for this coaching staff. You didn't pay for them for us to have a top 12 pick again next season. I hate to tell y'all that. That better not be where we are. This is the spot that we need to be in, where we're making a shift and making a move and starting to become that team that can win on the football field. If you can't tell, I get fired up when I talk about this because I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of having the team that's all great to get excited about in the offseason, but when the season turns on, we're just like, oh, well, maybe next year again. At least we got rid of Matt Eberflus. That's not enough anymore. That's not enough. It shouldn't be enough for any Bears fan anymore to win the offseason. It's just not enough. So what's next? Winning, right? And let's hope that we have the right people in the right place, in the right positions, that we can finally start winning football games, because that's what we need more than any type of offseason victories. And not a single banner or trophy is given for the best offseason. I'm tired of winning the offseason. I'm tired of winning the offseason. I'm tired of winning the offseason. That's where I'm at with this team right now. Offseason wins don't mean shit to me anymore. Now, do I think we have players and people in place that we can actually start winning on the football field? Yes, I do. But we got to see it. We got to see it. I'm no longer getting excited about the potential of us winning. I'm going to get excited once we start winning games on the football field. Let's go out and get these dubs. Caleb, I said it before. Right? It's nice to talk about everything else, the offensive line, Braxton Jones, the defensive line. Do we have enough in the trenches? Do we have the right running back? But you know what? This needs to be the season where Caleb Williams steps up. He has to step up some. I know it's only his second year, but how much now? You got the better coaching staff. You got a better offensive line. Running back room, we'll see what happens there. But how do you now progress in year 2? What's the next step that you, Romo Doomsday, takes it to? Right? Is DJ Moore going to stop fucking pouting now? Right? Is he going to stop pouting now that hopefully you have a better coach with better play calling? So now you can stop pouting on the sidelines. And listen, I get fired up when we lose too. I'm glad that he cares that much. I'd much rather see somebody show some type of emotion about losing than to just be like, oh, well, shit, I got my check. But, like, go out there and show some fucking fire. We didn't pay you to pout. We paid you to go out there and put up some goddamn touchdowns. That's what we paid you for. So let's hope that that's the case. Montez Sweat, get some fucking sacks, my boy. Like, get some sacks. All the advanced stats, the percentages on your hit rate and all that shit, is your pressure rate. All that's great. Get some fucking sacks, my boy. Put some bodies in the dirt. That's what we need here. So let's hope that this is the season where we finally start seeing that shit and I can stop complaining. Right? Let's at least hope that. But enough of me yapping. Let's get into the voicemails. You guys know I like to follow up and clean out the voicemail box on Monday. We got one from Thad and another one from Darius. Let's go ahead and get into this one from Thad here.
What's up, Haize, Bobby, Steve-O, C-Dub, Kev? Man, this is Thaddeus from the south side of Chicago, man. And I'm calling this night, man, this Sunday night, because I want to talk about the Bears' fourth-round pick, man, Reuben Hippolyte. Man, I feel like he's been getting disrespected, right? Now, I get it, you know. I mean, we're in the Midwest, so we don't see a lot of Maryland. But, man, the dude, man, I did a little research on him, man. I mean, he can run, right? So we know that. I mean, it was obvious now on his pro day, man. He ran a 4.39. And guess who else ran a 4.39? And I'm gonna hit y'all with this one, man. Wilbur Marshall. Now, you know what I'm saying? He was the last. Look. Okay. So, okay, that's cool. That's a good ass comparison, man. But put that man with them other two linebackers, man. I mean other two linebackers, man. You know who I'm talking about, Edwards, man. Just put him with Edwards, man, and let them like coach him up, man. He can run sideline to sideline, man. I like Hippolyte. I mean, at first I was shocked because I listened to everybody, man, what they were saying. Like he wasn't on nobody's draft boards and blah, 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 blah. But, man, after watching some of his tape, man, and then to come to find out he was in Ray Lewis camp, linebacker camp, back in the day when he was in high school, and he won the MVP of that camp. So, man, the dude's a dog. He's a dog, man. And then Maryland was kind of like, man, they changed the program. You know, he could have went anywhere, man. But anyway, I think the Bears got a good one. I mean, fourth rounder, yeah, I'm kind of skeptical, but I'm going to believe in Pose, man. I mean, not only Pose, man, but I'm believing the whole new coaching staff. And because I believe it just wasn't Pose picking him. I believe, you know, the defensive coordinator made that suggestion to pick up Reuben Hippolyte. And I think a lot of people going to catch the vapors. Yeah, that's old school, the vapor. Yeah, and, man, bear down, man. I just got a good feeling about this guy, Reuben Hippolyte. I think he's going to come in and hit sideline to sideline and smash some heads. All right, Chicago up, bear down, brother.
Reuben Hippolyte. I mean, listen, if he ends up being a still great, everything that you named is great. 40-yard dash time is great. Being in Ray Lewis camp is great. All that stuff, it's good, it sounds great, and it makes for really good bulletin board material. But, I mean, the fact is it takes more than speed. The fact is it takes a lot of people went into Ray Lewis's camp. Now, they all, of course, didn't win MVPs. They don't all turn into really great NFL prospects. Now, if Hippolyte's able to do that, great. I'm not saying he can't. I'm not here to put a cap on a young man. I'm just here to say, let's see it. I mean, he is one of the biggest question marks out of the Bears draft picks. But let's see. Him and Shamar Turner, let's see what they can bring in year one. Hippolyte, listen, that third linebacker is completely open. Now, we're going to run a lot of two linebacker sets under Dennis Allen, where you're going to have Kyler Gordon operating as that. But listen, it's still open for you to show what you can bring. Let's show it. Because if you do show it, like, and bring it, that opportunity is going to be there for you. It's going to be there for you. So if Hippolyte ends up being this player that ends up playing great and things like that, great. And like you said at the end of it, I'm going to believe in this coaching staff. Until they give me reason otherwise, I'm going to believe in this coaching staff. So if they've seen and they identified, if Dennis Allen identified Hippolyte as the guy that he thinks that he can craft, mold, and develop, great, cool. Let's go out there and do it. Let's see it. And that's just where I stand with it personally. But you guys can let me know how you feel down below. All right, let's get into this next one, man. This one's from Darius.
What's going on, guys? Darius from Dallas, man. I just wanted to give my thoughts real quick on the running back position. I feel like there's been a lot of talk about that lately with all Chubb news and all that, and us drafting a guy. And it's going to be pretty interesting to see that battle, how that turns out in training camp in that running back room, because I do feel like we, with myself included, but us as Bears fans, we're probably just a little too hard on Swift. It is hard playing running back, guys, when you don't have holes opened up for you. It was pissing me off when Swift was getting the ball and running right to the sideline every fucking time, but there's no holes in the middle. So you have to go back with Swift and really just look at what he did with the Eagles that 1 year that he was there, and he was not shying away from running up the middle when he was with the Eagles. He was running up the middle and running for big gains. He was getting 20, 30-yard gains up the middle in Philly. I remember one in particular, I think, that happened in the playoffs. So let's be a little easier on Swift, I think, and let's see what he does with a good offensive line. As far as that Monongai kid, man, I really, really like the way he plays. I don't know what he's going to turn out to be. I'm not going to let him do me like Ian Willer did me last offseason and get my hopes all in him, and then he, just for whatever reason or another gets hurt or don't pan out. But I do think this from another guy. I do think he's going to be one of them preseason game standout guys. I do think he's going to have one of them games where, in the preseason, he's going to go out there and run for, 120, 130. And a couple touchdowns. I do think he's going to be like a training camp star and a preseason star. Whether that translates into the regular season, we'll have to see, but that's my prediction for him. I think in the preseason, we're going to hear his name a lot. And as far as Chubb, just real quick on that, if we sign Chubb, we don't have to give him a lot of carries at the beginning of the season. We can still let him ease into himself, preserve his body. And then the second half of the season, them last 8 weeks in them cold winter months when we really need to run the ball and grind, then we can use him for the last 8 weeks of the season. And I think you'll have some value there. But let me know what y'all think about that, man. I think we got a good running back room, to say the least, though. But we'll just see how it pans out, man. Texas up, bear down.
Take it easier on Swift, and I open up the show on that. I agree with you. Like, am I saying that Swift needs to be our running back of the future? No, I'm not saying that. Am I saying that DeAndre Swift's this running back that we need to give a long-term deal to so he can be? No, I'm not saying that either. But I am saying that I do think that the conversation has shifted so far left to talk about him as if he's terrible. No, he's not great, and it's not terrible. It's not either or. You're either not great or terrible. That's not where it is. There's a spectrum here. And I think the offensive line, if you have a really good offensive line, here, and I've said this before, and shout out to Crimson. There's a quote from Crimson, I believe. This is how he worded it. If not, I'm paraphrasing it. But a really good offensive line can make a decent running back look better than a great running back can make a horrible offensive line look. So because of that, if we've done our work and the offensive line is going to live up to what we hope they're going to be on paper, we can have a better running game. I think we can have a better running game overall than what we had last year, right? Now, if we bring up Nick Chubb, if we bring up J.K. Dobbins, great, right? Because then that solidifies it and makes it even clearer, especially if they're able to stay healthy. Now, the thing that you said about Nick Chubb, I don't want to bring in Nick Chubb if we have to maintain his body to make sure he's ready for the last 8 weeks of the season. That actually would make me not want to sign him. I need a guy that I can trust in day in and day out. And if that ends up being more J.K. Dobbins than Nick Chubb, I'm fine with that. But I don't want to bring in a guy, even if it's on a reasonable contract, then we got to say, oh, let's take it easy on him for the first half of the season because then we could get the best out of him in the second half. I don't want that. I get your thought process on that. I'm not saying that you're flawed in your thought process. I'm just saying personally, I don't want that, right? So, we'll see what happens here. Overall, we shall see what happens. Don't overlook running backs getting cut. Like we cut Deontay Foreman, like in the middle of the season. Like, so you just never know what could happen. We'll see. I do think Ryan Poles and this coaching staff, they're going to keep their ear to the ground and they're going to make improvements where they can. But that's my time for today, guys. Make sure you guys are following us at Shy Bear Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. ChicagoBearCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related, but that's thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, but bear down. I love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.